Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today this is going to be our first podcast on the Motorsport Social channel. I guess we're going to call it the Motorsport Social Podcast, but if you've got any name recommendations, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'm here with Ed, and we are basically just going to play some Formula 1 2020 and chat about motorsport. I think this one is going to be mainly focused on F1 and the kind of topics that are going around at the moment. We have a bunch of topics we want to talk about, and we're going to do a 25% race at Spa while we do it. We thought that since we play this game so much and just chat about F1, we may as well record it and make it into a bit of a podcast for all you guys to listen at home or wherever you are. So enjoy the gameplay and enjoy our conversations, and make sure to get involved in the comment section down below if you agree with us on any of these topics. But anyway, Ed, are you ready?
I am ready. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's do this. Let's crash and.
I've gone for AlphaTauri. What team are you? I didn't even check.
I'm Renault. I don't know why. Just
Renault.
I don't even like Renault.
Lights. Here we go. Right. This could get a bit sketchy into the first corner. Whoa, what a dive.
Oh dear. I've sensed it. Oh dear. Oh, no thank you.
Whoa, okay, give me Raikkonen.
I can't really hear my game, by the way, so that's my excuse if I do badly.
Okay, as we go up Beau Rouge,
side by side with Hamilton.
Hamilton? How well have you done?
Hamilton's in 5th, so...
Oh, wow, not a good start from him.
No.
But anyway, that could actually tie into our first topic of the podcast, which is on the theme of Hamilton and Mercedes, I guess you could say, which is talking about whether Mercedes, obviously being the dominant team in Formula 1 at the moment, and over the last 6 years, 7 if you include this one, is that dominance a good thing or not? And I think this is like quite a commonly discussed topic, that some people believe that Mercedes being dominant is, negative for the sport, and it makes people bored and don't watch the races because they already know who's going to win. Other people would disagree and say it's a good thing because it's pushing the limits of Formula 1, and that's what Formula 1's always been about. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the general consensus among fans will be that it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I know people make the point that, well, F1 is a platform to make lots of technological advancements and make cars better in general. But I disagree with that. I think the general purpose of Formula 1 is an entertainment for fans. Without fans watching, without anyone watching, it wouldn't exist.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
It really doesn't have much, in my opinion, to do with manufacturing cars. And yes, some technologies from F1 that have been invented in F1 have made it onto cars.
Yeah.
But I think that's becoming less of a thing nowadays. F1 engines don't work in cars. That's been proved by the Mercedes AMG Project 1 thing.
Yeah, it seems to have failed a little bit.
Which can't even start.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is some technology that's been transferred over, but there's the majority of it maybe has been downscaled a little bit, and some technology has been transferred over, but I think that's definitely happened more in the past. It's not like you're seeing active suspension in your Prius, is it? So
no. Although you are seeing hybrid stuff.
Yeah, so there is hybrid technology. That's probably the main technology, maybe engine technology, but it's all massively downscaled for a consumer market. But so it's one of those topics where I really want to see what people's opinions are on whether they think that Mercedes being dominant is a bad thing, and the other thing is, should they be kind of pulled back? I mean, we've seen this kind of thing in World Endurance Championship with Toyota being so dominant that they were given. They were basically penalised for doing well.
Well, it's balance of performance, isn't it?
Yeah, balance of performance. And so should we see balance of performance in Formula 1?
Yeah.
Or would that be something that would hinder the competitiveness of the sport, or like the technology advancing? I think for the show, it would be good, but also in a way it could also be confusing for fans, because I think balance of performance is quite a complicated thing.
It can get very complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I've seen, especially when it came out in WEC, and I'm someone who's been engrossed in motorsport for basically my entire life. I was going to say many years, but I'm only 16. I find it, a little bit confusing, and how they work it out, and what the effect is going to be. And for like the casual viewer, that can be quite confusing. But yeah, they're all things to consider, and these might be things that we see in the future. And I've massively locked up there, and I've let Norris through. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the future of Formula One, and how they manage threats like this. But the thing is, right, with this Mercedes dominance, people always are complaining about Mercedes dominance, but before Mercedes, we had Red Bull dominance for 4 years, and yes, it hasn't been.
And then
like
before
7
Red Bull
years.
dominance, it was Ferrari dominance, and then before Ferrari dominance, it was Williams and McLaren. It's always been a thing.
It's very rare that a constructor does well for 1 year and then doesn't. It's usually like something to do with they got the best car coming out of a regulation change, which is exactly what happened to Mercedes. And the thing is that we haven't had a massive regulation change since Mercedes nailed the hybrid engine. So
Not on the
of course
engine side,
Mercedes
at
are not on the engine side at least. So yeah, we'll see. And to be honest, in 2022, with the engines not changing, a little bit of worry comes to me a little bit about whether they're just going to continue that. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I think we should move on to another topic now. And I'm driving the AlphaTauri for a very specific reason. That reason being, talking about the whole Red Bull situation at the moment. Obviously, Max Verstappen, I think we could agree, outperforming his car. Getting that victory at Silverstone, which probably, shouldn't really have happened, but there you go.
No.
Considering how far ahead Mercedes are.
Well, he only got it because of Mercedes struggling with the temperatures, and it wasn't really because the Red Bull was the best car. It was just because Mercedes were struggling. And
so we're clearly not talking about Max Verstappen in this situation. We're definitely talking about Alex Albon and the two AlphaTauri drivers. And should Alex Albon, should the same thing happen to him that happened to Gasly? Should he be moved back down? Because clearly he is struggling in that Red Bull, not getting as much out of it as Max Verstappen. And he is getting a lot of criticism for it. And, some drivers, such as, George Russell, have come to his defence and said, Alex is a great driver. There's clearly something fundamentally wrong in the team or with the car or something. And to be honest, I think even Christian Horner made a comment, I believe, about how the two most difficult seats in F1 are next to Lewis and next to Max, which I think is very true.
Yeah, there's definitely something wrong within that Red Bull team that just doesn't allow, as I've gone very wide at La Source, that just doesn't allow a second driver to get anywhere near Max. And I don't know why that would be. I'm not an engineer, but I presume that the car is built around Max.
Yeah, I think they clearly have a number one and a number two down at Red Bull. What's happened here?
Yeah, someone's out of the race. I don't know.
Wow. Okay, Charles Leclerc.
He was just behind me.
There he is, out of the session. Could have a safety car. Come on, safety car.
No, it's gone now.
Yeah. So, will Albon what do you think? Do you think Albon should be replaced?
I don't think, not yet. Definitely not yet. I don't know who Red Bull could possibly replace him with. They seem to love promoting drivers from their young driver program, and I mean, both Gasly and Kvyat in the AlphaTauri seats are Red Bull, ex-Red Bull, well, yeah, and they've both been kicked out of the Red Bull seat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
and although Gasly,
I may have crashed into Magnussen.
whoops. Oh, it's Magnussen's fault.
Yeah, always Magnussen's fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see. Like, they're pretty savage, Red Bull, and they don't like when their drivers don't perform. There has been some speculation that, well, some people have said, why don't Red Bull sign someone like Nico Hülkenberg, who is proven, consistent, maybe he hasn't got his podium that everyone talks about, but over the course of a season is an incredibly consistent driver, and maybe that's just what Red Bull need. They just need a bit of consistency in that second seat. In my opinion, I asked you the question, do you think they should replace him? I don't. I agree with you. I don't think they should replace Albon. They need a driver pairing that can just stick for a few years, and Albon can really settle within that team. Because realistically, he's only been in the team a few seasons. Well, what, 2 seasons?
Yeah. I mean, if you keep swapping your drivers around, they don't get time to settle within the team, and they will ultimately not progress as drivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a destructive thing for not just the drivers, but for everyone working within the team to have so many shifts.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Like, you can actually relate that to kind of football as well. Like, when you have a team that has a new manager every season, they don't tend to do as well as someone who has a manager for a long time and gets to know the team and the staff and stuff like that. So it's the same thing. So yeah, let's see what happens to Albon. I really hope he can get a grip on that RB16 and stay with them, because I think he's a great guy and he is a proven quick driver. So
yeah, he is a quick driver.
He deserves his seat in
F1. I think Albon is doing much better, in my opinion, than Gasly was at Red Bull.
Yeah, I think even the stats prove that.
Even if he's maybe not getting... He is getting better results, but not insanely better. But just watching him on track, the overtakes he's making...
Lunch.
Yeah. Gasly wasn't making any overtakes.
Yeah, he wasn't going for it. Albon has made mistakes, but they've been most of them have been a result of really going for it and pushing the limits of his car. Trying to make overtakes, or Austria, for example, or trying to go really quick in quali. And yeah, they are driver mistakes, and they're only down to him. But oh dear, I forgot to release the pit limiter. Almost lost traction.
Oh, I forgot about pit stops.
Nice one. But yeah, it's one of those things where it is down to him, but you can't be too harsh on him. At least he's giving everything, whereas Gasly seemed to be a bit more tentative, I guess. So yeah, another piece of news that has... Jesus, they're really battling ahead of me. What is going on? Another piece of news that has arisen in recent days is a potential race at Turkey, bringing back the Turkish Grand Prix for this season, much like we've had the return of many other tracks. Well, we're about to kind of go into that season of tracks we haven't been to for a very long time, or at all. And so I don't really remember Turkey that well. I think the biggest highlight from Turkey that I can remember off the top of my head is the classic, wasn't it the Red Bull crash with Webber and
Vettel.
But I think the drivers think it's a really great track, so they want to bring it back, they want to see it back, which would be really exciting. I'm always down for having new tracks added to the calendar, especially this year. It makes everything more interesting, more unpredictable, I guess. I mean, maybe not as unpredictable for who's going to win the championship, because I think we basically know that already, but obviously Lando Norris. And and that was sarcasm. Some people don't understand my sarcasm, so I'm just going to clarify that one. And yeah, we'll see. I think it'd be an exciting addition to the calendar, something new.
I started watching F1 in 2017. I know, I'm a new fan.
New fan. And
But so I
left
I
me in-
know nothing about this track apart from that people think it's good. People
Nice.
like it, so
Jesus.
I'm sure it will be good.
It's obviously
Don't
been
really
a
have
while
much more
since.
to add than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously been a while since we have been there, and so cars different. You know, racing could be completely different. But you never know. Let's wait and see and see what we think. Other news. Williams have just been sold. Well, bought. Well, they've changed their ownership.
People are
And they've been
saying
bought by the Doritos man.
people are
I've seen
saying
that
this
meme
is
a few
a bad thing. And I've seen people saying that this is a bad thing. That this
Oh.
is a tragedy for F1, and I don't understand what they mean by that.
Yeah,
I think it's a great thing for F1
Hmm.
that because otherwise Williams wouldn't be able to put cars on track.
Yeah, it's true. I think in a way it's good, and in a way it shows a weakness. And
Yeah.
not in Williams, by the way. I'm talking about in Formula One. The good thing, yeah, we're keeping our history, and Williams is staying in the team. And I think it's great they found an owner which is going to keep their name, their factory and their history intact. Right? They're not going to do a Racing Point and change them completely, right? Which I think is excellent and crucial for that team to keep its history. What I do think it does show is the failure by F1 to help their teams and keep the teams in, and especially in the 2010s, right? We saw so many teams enter F1 and leave F1 and down at the bottom of the grid, never succeed, and that's not healthy for the sport at all. We need to keep the teams. It keeps the history of the sport going, and teams will come and go, but you don't want to have a team which is in Formula One for 3 years and disappears. So on that same topic, it's good to see that Haas signed the Concorde Agreement.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't know the new terms of the Concorde Agreement, and that will in the Concorde Agreement it will be trying to hopefully keep those.
Yeah, I hope that there is some more support for those teams, because it's important for the sport and for the fans. There are people that have grown up watching Williams compete, and they want to continue to do so, and rightly so. And yes, they might not be anywhere near the front of the grid at the moment. However, they've clearly made progress this year. Russell showing that.
I think this new deal is the start of Williams' resurgence. I can really see this new investment being the start of good things for them.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm very pleased that they found, like I said, someone who's going to keep their incredibly rich history intact. Other thing that's been mentioned, and this is actually a bit older news, speaking about qualifying modes and the potential. I don't know. Has it been agreed yet? I don't even know.
So they're going to be banned from Italy onwards. It was going to be from Spa, but they've changed it now to Italy.
Okay. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I like the intention.
Yeah. It's yeah, go on.
There's a real danger of it backfiring, because it might just mean that no one can overtake in the race because no one's able to use their engine modes.
Yeah.
And that would be awful.
Yeah. Rest in peace, scenario 7 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they had scenario 8.
There is an unknown scenario 8 that does exist.
Yeah, but it's not such a meme, is it? So
No.
what's the point? No, but yeah, it's well. I just don't know how much effect it's really going to have. Like, Mercedes are still Jesus. Mercedes is still Jesus.
Pretty much.
Basically. No, Mercedes are still, they're still going to finish P1, aren't they? It might be a bit closer, but in reality, you finish P1 and P2, the gap could be 8 minutes, but the gap on the grid is still going to be the same, right? So
yeah. I think in the race is where Mercedes really need to, or the FIA really need to strip back some of Mercedes' pace.
Yeah,
because it's even with the qualifying, even with this qualifying mode ban, Mercedes is still going to be getting 1-2s.
Absolutely. Unless someone can pull off a miracle. But
one way that I've seen people suggesting that we make races more exciting and we reduce Mercedes' race pace is by bringing in softer tyres. Tyres that degrade more, and I think that's a terrible idea.
Oh, really?
Because actually, it's like softer tyres means that you're just going to have to manage them more, and I think part of the reason that the British Grand Prix was so good was because, yes, the tyres were degrading so much, but also the teams didn't expect them to degrade so much.
Yeah, it was unexpected.
And they had nothing prepared. But if you were running with those tyres for a full season, the teams would very quickly work out what to do, and they'd just either be telling their drivers to stop a lot, which is good, or more likely just be telling them to.
Yeah, I mean, this is the exact thing.
This
is the exact thing that happened when softer tyres were in Formula 1, and they basically had a drop-off point where they just disappear. And, that's what happened. People just managed them, right? There would be the rare occasion where someone would go for the strategy where they pit loads of times, and sometimes it would pay off, but most often it wouldn't. And it just led to insane tyre management, which is why they then changed it to what it is now.
Yeah, and the other thing is that tyres that degrade a lot put lots of marbles on the track off the racing line, which means it's much harder to overtake.
Yeah.
So there are lots of... Having tyres that just disintegrate is not as good as it sounds.
Yeah, I think that some people are kind of over... Like, they've... Just because we had a really good race, they're, like, suddenly really excited about softer tyres. And, yeah. But the thing is, you've got to understand with the Formula 1 teams is if they know something's going to happen, they're going to have massively prepared for it. And when they massively prepare for it, they'll find the best solution because of how, the technology and the high-tech aspect of these teams now. They're going to find the best solution.
Everything.
Yeah, everything is under control. They know exactly. And that's why the best races are when something unexpected happens. That's why safety cars cause so much chaos, because Formula 1 teams can't predict those. So I guess you could bring in the argument, should F1 have more unexpected variables that could be brought into races?
I think unpredictability is the key to making F1 better. You just need more unpredictable things.
Yeah.
Things like the Q2 tyre quali rule, where whatever time you set your fastest, whatever tyre you set your fastest time on, you have to start the race on. That's a silly rule, because if you got rid of that and said, oh, you can start on any tyre you want, you get things like in the F2 where you get people starting on different tyres and you get alternate strategies, and sometimes an alternate strategy can win you a race, and other times it will be awful.
Yeah,
and put you outside the points.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things where, again, like I said, it's down to doing it right. And you can do unpredictably right and you can do it wrong. And in my opinion, Formula E does it wrong.
Yeah.
I think the cars apparently are just horrible to drive. I think they've got better, but they were just horrible to drive. And making cars unpredictable is not the best way of making the racing unpredictable, because they're just hard to drive. It's just not going to look good, and it's going to be horrible for the drivers and everyone else involved.
I think you can.
Do you want to select another track?
Oh yeah, sure. Where should we go?
Oh, that's a good question. Should we should we head to Italy, I guess? Monza?
Yeah, let's do it. I might be...
I'm going to change team, actually. I'm going to go
I'm going to be Alfa Romeo.
Okay, we've done a bit of a swap. The car performance is on equal. It's just our starting positions. Yeah, it's like I was saying about Formula E. It's just like it's about doing it right.
Yeah,
and
I think
doing it in the right ways.
Making the cars unpredictable to drive isn't really the way to do it. I think making just if the teams don't know what they're doing, don't know what's going on, if they haven't simulated every possible scenario, that's a better way to do unpredictability.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people, and it came out quite strongly, especially last year, I think, is that people really wanted to get rid of practice and see how that affects. And is it Imola that we're going to have?
Yeah, I that's going to be so interesting because
it's going to be super interesting.
Imola is going to be a hard track to overtake on, but it could be a great strategic race because none of the teams will know what's going on.
Absolutely. Wow, why a Ferrari on pole? Game's broken. The game's broken.
I've put an increased top speed setup on.
Oh, okay. Good luck. Here we go. Concentration faces again. It's a good thing we're not making this podcast an audio only, because you'd have many awkward silences.
Yeah. Oh, squeeze into the
grass. Oh!
Where are you going?
Oh my god.
Oh dear, I just sent a bunch of people for a punt.
I just couldn't stop. I've got myself a bit... Oh, safety car. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Safety car gives us a chance to
It told me to overtake Hamilton. Okay, yeah, we can focus on speaking.
And by the way, apologies for that interesting turn one.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think because I don't know if anyone else who plays the F1 game has done this, and I know this is completely random, but I've mapped and has the Logitech G29. Is it called?
Yeah.
Oh, I just hit Hamilton.
Or 920.
Or 920. Yeah, I've mapped my brake to my clutch, so I get more brake. What's it called? Like, I guess the length of the brake.
Travel. More brake travel.
Travel. That's the word I was looking for. I'm not focused. I almost hit Hamilton. Yeah, that's what I've mapped it, and so I think I was actually pressing the normal brake when I went into turn one, so I just didn't stop.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, where were we? I've gotten lost. We're talking about unpredictability.
I'm not sure why there's a safety car. Actually.
There's a yellow. Is it a? That must be a Renault. It's gone.
Okay.
Anyway, the next topic I've got written down here is driver transfers. Talking about Formula 2 and who we could see in Formula 1 in the next few years. Obviously, at the moment, it looks like the battle for the championship is pretty open, but it looks mainly between Eilert and Schwartzman.
Yeah.
And you are a massive F2 fan, I think. That's
Formula 2 is better than Formula 1. Changed my mind. Jesus.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I was kind of braking where you're meant to brake for that corner, and I got a 5-second penalty. Who cares?
Well, I've lost a position.
I lost about 5 positions. No.
Well, rightly so. You just punted me. And now it's giving me illegal overtaking.
Close my blind. I've got sun in my eyes.
I do. The podcast is we get past 30 minutes and it's just gone to shambles.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, you are a big F2 fan.
Yeah.
Have you sorted your blind out?
My blind is fine. I can see again.
Okay, well done. Yeah. So you're a big F2 fan. What are your thoughts? Who do you think is going to win the championship? Make your predictions.
So, it's close to call. It's too close to call. Eilert is just so good in quali, and he does make mistakes in the races. But I saw this really it's a crazy stat where since Monza last year, in every qualifying session, he's qualified in the top 3,
Wow.
which is very impressive.
Wait, since Monza last year?
Yeah.
Jesus. Wow, that is a crazy stat. Yeah, wow. I mean, good on him. He's clearly got his qualifying nailed, frankly, and his teams, because he's been in different teams.
I don't think Schwartzman has that consistency.
Yeah, but he's also newer to... Well, he's new to...
Yeah,
F2
that is the other thing. I think people forget that this is Schwartzman's first year in F2, and
Yeah, he's a
Eilot's
rookie
second
for
year.
F2, yeah.
And, I mean, Eilot wasn't this good his last year. He was not fighting for the championship.
It is a kind of a trend we see in F2. Like, their first year drivers aren't... they find their feet. They get used to the different machinery, tyres, and... all that.
Yeah.
And then
tyres are a massive thing in F2. Tyre management is
crazy.
It's huge. The Pirelli tyres on the F2 cars just don't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Tyres, it's going to be interesting to see what the 18-inch rims look like on the F1 cars.
Yeah. I think they look great on the F2 cars.
Yeah, I prefer them I think they look amazing.
God's sake, I've just hit
Bottas again. We both hit someone at the same.
I know I have 15 seconds worth of penalties.
I think I've got 8 seconds. I think I've got a 3 and a 5.
They keep just braking for no reason in the middle of the straights. I know it's a safety car, but can you not be a bit smoother, please?
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So, that's who's going to win. Who do you think will be getting seats in the future in Formula 1? Or who can you see in the next few years, considering the driver market at the moment?
Apparently Mick Schumacher has had talks with an F1 team. And Mick Schumacher's a popular choice.
Yeah, I think it's because he's very easy to market.
Yeah. And
for the obvious
I don't
reasons.
think he's a bad driver. I think he's a good driver. But Eilot and Schwartzman both deserve that seat so much more at Alfa Romeo.
Oh dear, that has not gone well at all. Oh dear.
Oh dear. I was kind of looking behind me when that happened, so.
Oh brilliant, we got 2 angles then.
Well,
Sainz has been disqualified.
That's because I kept hitting him.
You disqualified Carlos Sainz.
Well, to be fair, he was brake checking me at every straight, so.
Oh yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
Well, this second race has gone to shambles, but
yeah, I've just spun as well now. This is
okay, right.
Should we just restart?
No, do you know what it sounds to me? It sounds to me like this is trying to tell us to end the podcast. I mean,
maybe
we've gotten through all our topics, and it's the first podcast. It's going to be a bit all over the place. Hello, mate. Yeah, I think I'd just like to we'll just wrap this up, and just first of all say thank you for listening. I hope you guys have enjoyed our first podcast. We will obviously get better. This is only our first attempt, and we will hopefully get better at driving while talking. Because as you can tell,
it just goes a bit smoother.
Everything just goes a little bit better. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I really do. Make sure to get involved down in the comments. We really want to hear your opinions on the topics we've spoken about. And if you want us to discuss any particular topics, also leave them down in the comments. We will make sure to read them all. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching / listening if you only listened. And
that's it, I guess.
I don't know what I was going to say.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to check out our other videos. Make sure to follow us on our social medias, especially our Twitter. We like to be active, especially on the race weekends there. And yeah, we'll leave the links to those in the description below. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye from me.
And probably me as well. I guess that's what you want me to say.
Bye bye.
Goodbye. I'm driving in reverse. I've just taken out a hat.